Biz Motivation with the Culver City Chamber Ambassador. I am Candance Simmons, the Chair Ambassador and owner of All That and More Boutique. I'm co-hosting with the lovely, I was going to say lovely, lively, with the lovely Rafia Cooper, who's also an ambassador and owner of Rafia Jewelry. As an ambassador of the Culver City Chamber, we are excited to welcome our viewers to this Monday Biz Motivation. The mission, you guys, of the Culver City Chamber is to be a catalyst for business growth and expansion, a connector of people, resources, and ideas, a champion for strong community. So this platform has been created to support that mission. Today, we are honored to have a special guest with us. And I'm going to stop right there and turn it over to Rafia so she can welcome our special guest.
Hi, Candance. Thank you.
Hello.
You can call me Lively too. It's fine.
I was mixing lovely and lively together.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys, before we continue, do you guys hear a
There's
sound?
some typing. Yeah.
Is anybody
typing? Going on.
Not me.
Not me. I'm not either. So I'm not sure what's going on, but hopefully that can stop.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're welcoming today with us Dr. Payam Zamani, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his business. And if you guys are watching live, please, put your comments and your questions on the chat there, and we will read them out loud and answer them for you. And Payam will be able to answer any questions that you have for him. Me and Candance, we're all going to do the same thing, okay?
Yeah,
So
it sounds like we have a little space invader there, though that's just doing some interesting stuff. So hopefully they'll go away.
I know. This is really kind of frustrating right now, isn't it?
Yeah, he's trying to stop our motivation, right?
Dr. Zamani, I'm jumping on. I'm just be the voice in the sky. I'm not really here, but I don't know what it is, but there's something for some reason that's coming in on your end, because when I mute your mic, the sound stops. So I don't know if maybe there's something with the audio that's not connected, that we might be able to. Let's see. So maybe it's your. Try now.
Is that better?
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right.
Wow, that was what a great introduction, ruining the whole thing already.
Oh no, we're good with that. We acknowledge our distractions and move forward.
Exactly.
Acknowledge and address them.
Yes, I figured we might as well address it and get rid of it before it continues through the whole time. So welcome, Payam.
Good idea.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started and where's your business located? All of these things.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, my name is Payam Zamani. Thank you for the introduction, Candance, and Rafia to you. And Colin, thank you for calling me out on my end. I don't know what my phone was doing, but the AirPods saved the day today. I'm the orthodontist and the owner of TruSmile Orthodontics here in Culver City on Sepulveda Boulevard. I was asked very kindly by Candance to join today, just to explain who we are, what we do, and talk a little bit about business and making people smile. I went to dental school at USC. This was a little over 10 years ago now. Went out East Coast to University of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to do my residency. Became an orthodontist there, got my master's also in facial aesthetics, and I've been back in LA ever since, having fun making people smile.
How long have you been on Sepulveda?
Uh-oh. We're having audio problems again.
Uh-oh.
You guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Can you hear us?
Hold on.
We're still here. We can still hear you.
Can you hear us?
1 second.
Okay. Have you ever heard of anything like that, Rafia? Facial aesthetics? I don't even know if I'm saying it right.
No.
Yeah, it's like, wow, the different things that folks study to be great and do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever found whenever I'm around Dr. Payam or Dr. Dan of the Culver City dentist here, when I'm around them, I'm like, should I smile? Are they checking out my teeth? I mean, what's going on? Will they let me know?
And I had actually interviewed Dr. Dan before
Hmm.
and talked to him. So he was, a very nervous guest I remember, but he was great. And, I learned a lot from talking to him, and I'm sure that we're going to learn a lot today talking to Payam. I'm curious to hear what he has to say about that facial aesthetics.
Yeah. It's so funny because whenever I think we all experience a bit of nervousness when we go live every Monday, I'm like, okay, and then you just walk into it, you just breathe through it and everything. And Dr. Dan, the general dentist in Culver City, he interestingly, in person, he's one way. He was a little nervous, but when I went into his office, I was like, wow, this is
Really?
a different. Oh yes, he's very. It's a different person. I think, there's different elements where we're all very comfortable and some where we're uncomfortable. But in his element, I was like, wow, okay, Dr. Dan, I got to come and see you here. We should interview him in his place of business. I think you'll see a different person.
I know. And before the pandemic happened, like my idea was really to just get um, get to all of these businesses that I had interviewed, personally go there and actually show their place of business. And
Right.
I only got to do one before the pandemic hit. And of course we had to put a stop to that.
Yeah, that
So,
was Helms Flowers. I saw that interview. It was great. It was really great.
oh yeah, that one was really great,
Mhm.
but she's so wonderful. We have to get her on here as well.
Yes, we have to get Sandra Helms Flowers on our Monday Biz Motivation. I'm sure she's went through quite a bit. Anytime you have a storefront in this pandemic, it's a lot of changes that we have to make to survive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So do you think that Dr. Z just got disconnected from us?
I think so. I'm sure he'll pop back on. And what we
Okay.
could probably do is speak to some of the things that will continue to motivate us this week. I'm sure you have some fun ones. I know I do.
Okay, well, that's great. I've actually, when this virus started, I had already moved my business back to my home.
Mhm.
So just to tell you about some of my motivations for this week, I've been working on taking some of my older pieces, and it's interesting because when you're doing jewelry, you're able to take them apart
Mhm.
and recreate with the same components, recreate new items, which can be very exciting in some ways because you're actually refurbishing, recycling. And in my business, one of the things that I really pride myself on is that there's so little waste.
Mhm.
And so I recycle everything, and even all my little scraps I can recycle.
Which is
So,
great.
which is great. So that's one of my things that I'm working on. Hi, Payam. Welcome
Yeah, I have
back.
no idea. I
We
don't know what's going on with my system on this end. The video went bad and the audio went bad initially as well, but hopefully it's okay now.
That's okay. We refuse to move forward without you because we
Yes,
knew
we've been just waiting. We can power through these
we
technical
knew you were
issues.
coming back.
I appreciate that to the both of you. Thank you.
We knew you were not going to give up until you got back to us. So we were just here engaging until you came back.
Exactly.
Sounds good. I think
Exactly.
that we left off basically with me introducing myself.
Yes. Yes. So Rafia and I were talking about the last thing you were sharing about facial anesthetics.
Facial aesthetics, exactly.
What is that?
Yeah. So we did. So to become an orthodontist, you have to finish your residency in orthodontics after you do dental school. So you do 4 years of dental school after college, and then you go into a residency, which is a 3-year full residency, and you become an orthodontist. And
Okay.
at that point, you specialize in braces. You specialize in using clear aligners to make teeth straight and fix bites.
Wow.
So as an orthodontist, I don't do general dentistry anymore.
Okay.
Cleanings, fillings, implants, all that stuff I leave to the general dentist. And then braces and clear liners to make teeth straight and fix bites is all I do every day.
Wow.
In addition to that, I did something extra as well, which is that facial aesthetics. So I got a master's in facial aesthetics because orthodontics and facial aesthetics really come hand in hand. For example, when we move teeth around, especially in the front, it changes your profile because we could actually move your lips forward or inwards depending on the position of where we leave your teeth at. So I think it's very important that when you're actually looking at someone's smile, it's not just make teeth straight, right? It's make your teeth straight. It's to have a healthy bite and also balance your face so it looks proportionate to your entire body.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've
Well,
seen
that
some
makes
folks.
sense.
Yeah, I've seen some folks after they've had different dental work where I can see that their appearance has changed to all those things you just described, and I couldn't figure out like what happened, what's going on. So, okay,
Wow. Well,
awesome.
it makes perfectly good sense.
Mhm.
You know?
Yes. So, Dr. Payam, in this pandemic,
Ladies,
how it,
I know you can hear me. It looks like I'm having audio difficulties again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab another laptop. I'm probably going to need about 10 minutes. If you
okay,
guys can chat, I'm going to go back right on in 10 minutes. Okay? I'm going to
okay,
grab another laptop.
sure, no problem, no problem. We'll be here. So, Rafia, you were talking about repurposing jewelry,
Yes.
and
So, yeah. And so, what I did was I actually started to take apart a lot of my pieces that, because of the virus, like I felt like, oh, I could make some newer things. And at first I thought, okay, this virus isn't going to last for that long, right? We were going to be locked down for 2 weeks, remember, in the beginning.
right,
So I was thinking, okay, well, this will be great. I can, revamp a few things and make them new and show them to my clients, right? To my
mhm,
customers. Well, of course, as you know, since you are one of my customers,
right,
that stores had to stay closed, and unfortunately we've just started to reopen up the stores. And so being that I was selling wholesale to retailers, that affected my business quite a bit.
mhm,
And so recently, since now everybody's reopening, my motivation has been to literally take all those pieces that I took apart, and I have these little like trays that have compartments, and I started to put the same stones, together, pearls, same colors, that kind of a thing. And so last night, I kind of got motivated and decided that I would take these compartments and see what I could put together as a new piece. So I want to show you the earrings that I'm wearing. I actually made these out of different things that I
wow,
cut open.
they're beautiful. They're beautiful.
Yes, they came out so pretty. So I'm wearing a green dress, so it kind of goes with the green, and they're an ombre, so it goes from the darkest to the lightest.
Hmm.
And it was so fun to create it because all these pieces were in front of me, all these little stones were in there in front of me, and there's some crystals on here as well. And I was able to, design something first, and then I started making it. Of course, I'm not the fastest maker, so it took me a
But
while.
you're so amazingly creative. I mean, I think that's great that you can take something as a creative jeweler and take it apart and then repurpose it and make something amazing. One of the things that, as far as my motivation, it continues to be my clients. And over the
Mhm.
weekend, I got several photos from clients that I styled where they were traveling again. So folks are starting to travel again. So as they were sending me their photos, I was remembering when they were in the store and that moment of styling them when they got to a place of, wow, I'm ready to travel. I'm ready to enter a room. And my motivation this week is to share more of those testimonies from folks that are getting out and moving around safely. So
Mhm.
I will. I see my husband did a post. Hello. Hello, Cornell. I love you
Hi,
too.
Cornell.
Yeah, he's a motivation as well. But one of the things that's going on, Rafia, that you and I were both a part of last year, I think we around this time or prior to after this time, we were pleasantly surprised by several members of the Women in Business Committee.
Right.
And they visited our business and they told us that we were nominated for small business or women in business, and we were nominated in different categories. And that being said, all of those that are listening, the nomination closes today for the 5th annual Women in Business Leadership Award. So there are some amazing women in Culver City that are doing business. So we encourage you, our viewers, as well as ourselves, Rafia, we have to go and, if you haven't already, nominate some women that are doing some amazing things in business.
You
Have
know,
you had a chance to nominate anyone? And you don't have to list them here, but
I am going to do I have a nomination,
Mhm.
and I'm going to do my nomination this afternoon when I have a chance to do it. So I'm going to do that later. But yes, absolutely. It was so fun last year to do this. You
Right.
know, it was extremely fun. I cried when they came to my business and told me that, you know, I had been nominated. It was incredible. I
think
didn't
we
know about
both
it.
did.
Everyone else knew about it. My husband knew about it. My workers, my employees, and my daughter knew about it. So they had it all planned, and they held up little signs that said congratulations.
Nice. Nice.
Dr. Payam, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Full disclosure, I threw away my cell phone on my wife's phone.
Oh, good. See, wives always know best.
The lifesaver.
Do you know what this does? And this actually is very interesting that this happened, and I'm glad that it happened because, you know, it shows that this is what you have to deal with when you're in your business. When you are a business and small business owner, especially, you wear so many hats, you know, and so you have to power through. You have to say, okay, well, right now I have to be the tech guy, and you know, I mean,
I was actually with the plastic surgeon this morning about this, and I was like, and she was like, you know, you guys should really have, like, business training in residency in dental school, and I'm like, yeah, you could read a lot of books about it, but in reality, you have to go through the process. You have to mess up a few times, learn from it, and just move on.
Yes. And Dr. Payam, don't feel bad. This is our 3rd session. We're still learning the platform too. We're learning our technology. We have multiple pieces in our hands, 2 phones, an iPad, and a ring light. So, hey, we're good.
It's going to all be fine.
And,
it's going to
and
be all fine.
Our audience can see that, hey, we roll with it. We keep it moving. And we're determined to make it happen.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you figured it out, and I'm glad you're back. And you were telling us about the facial aesthetics. So, and your business is located on Sepulveda. What's the cross street there on Sepulveda that you're located?
The closest one is Braddock. So if you know where the YMCA is, we're directly across the street from the YMCA in a big yellow building.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. We're right there. Very, very central, right off the Culver exit on the freeway.
Okay, wonderful. So
In
Go
this,
ahead.
I'm sorry, in this pandemic, Dr. Payam, how have you continued or how have you had to shift your business to respond to the pandemic? Were you closed? Are you open? How are you meeting with your clients?
This is going to sound wild. I think we might have grown in the pandemic.
Wow.
So I think a lot of when you guys know when there's pressure on any kind of business, you just have to pivot and innovate and see if it works. We pivoted very quickly on and innovated, and it worked. So the way we did that is just like a lot of we went virtual, we went online. A lot of our so let me back up a little bit. So whenever anyone wants to come see me or my practice for consultation, all the consultations are free of charge at my in the very beginning. So when you come in, we take some X-rays, we take some digital scans, and then we talk about, how we could help. What we decided to do is we actually had to close the practice 2 full months. So we were not at the practice. We actually closed about a week before we had to close just to keep it safe. I kind of read in between the lines about like March 15th, and I realized that most businesses are going to have to close. So we closed a little bit earlier than everybody else, just to play it safe, which gave me a little time to research, see how we could pivot and still, reach our community and help our patients, but not be at the practice. So for the patients who are already patients of the practice, the nice thing is I use techniques where you don't have to come and see me for a couple of months. So that wasn't a huge deal for our patients, and honestly, were absolutely lovely. We contacted each one. I personally called each one of our patients, and I told them that we were going to be closing for, well, at that point, I thought it was going to be a few weeks, but it turned out to be a couple of months. So I called each patient personally, either spoke with them or left them a voicemail saying we're going to be closed. And from now on, until we open up, all the adjustments where their appointments are going to be done virtually. So
Wow.
anyone who needed an appointment, we jumped on a Zoom call and we set up through our website. We jump on a Zoom call and do those appointments virtually, just to make sure everything is going according to plan. And of course, they needed to come in for any kind of emergency, have to come in, and we would take care of it if it was an emergency. And in orthodontics, you really don't have a lot of emergency, so that made it easy. But the most important and the most interesting thing that I learned is a lot of people wanted to do that initial consultation online without even coming into the practice.
Wow.
So they would go on our website. There's a giant tab that says free virtual consultations. They would talk with my patient coordinator. We would set up a time and we would all jump on Zoom. And at first, it's kind of awkward because basically you're at home and you like come really close and you give I say, now look to your right, and you go like this. And I'm like this, and then like this, and like that. And at first, everyone's like, "This is kind of weird." I'm like, "I know, I get it." And after like the 50th one, I'm like, "Listen, I've done like 20 of these today already. Don't worry about it. It's not awkward for me at all." So we did a lot of consultations that way. And the nice thing is, patients are at home. They're not driving to the practice. They're not really committed to anything. And then I'm able to let them know what kind of treatment they need, whether braces, Invisalign, whatever. My patient coordinators lets them know how much everything's going to cost. We check their insurances online as well. When you're at home, you get to know what kind of treatment you need, how much it's going to cost. Is your insurance going to cover anything? And then all I let them know is that when they come to the practice, and at that time, we were closed. So whenever we would open, but now we still do our virtual consultation. I say when you come to the practice, whether that's the next day or a week later, I'm going to take a few X-rays just to look at the bones and the roots of the teeth. And if nothing funky is there, and most of the time there isn't, the plan stays the same. And I would say about 95% of the time, the initial plan that I diagnosed stays the same.
Wow.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's I can't even imagine, but how great you're limiting the time that they're spending in your location and you're keeping everybody safe. That is amazing.
It's a huge benefit. Yeah, it's nice. And then when they do come into the practice, Candance, I don't know if you know this, but the practice was built completely from scratch less than 2 years ago. So it used to be a pet food store before we came in.
Yes.
So we gutted the entire place, ceiling, walls, floor, and we built everything from scratch inside. And the way that we built it, it's like 14 ceilings, really wide space, giant office.
It's beautiful. I dropped off for the contest you guys are having, and you purchased masks for me. And so when I went in, even though it was early COVID, I was like, okay, I'm going to put the mask down. But I was like, wow, this is beautiful, but I better leave. You know? I have to come in for a tour. You can do a virtual tour or something, but it's beautiful what you did to that space.
I appreciate that. And that initial idea, make something that looks different, right? Doesn't look like orthodontic practice or dental practice. So it's very big. It just looks different. But then now we're using it to our advantage. It's such a large space that when people come and you're sitting on this side of the reception room, they're like 50 feet to the other side of the reception room. So we have a lot of space to work with.
Yeah, you could put several of those 6 feet social distancing things before you get to the receptionist desk. So you have plenty of room there.
Are you
Awesome.
the only one in your practice?
I am. It's a one location, one doctor practice. Yeah. That's the way we're seeing. I think it's a very nice business model that everything I see every patient, and I make sure everyone's being taken care of.
Now, you mentioned your dad earlier is actually Dr. Z, because I've seen on some of your posts that they call you Dr. Z. So can you tell us a little bit about your dad and how he influenced you into this business?
Absolutely. He actually is the original Dr. Zamani, but everyone calls him Dr. Someone calls me Dr. Z. It just automatically makes me think of him. So he's a retired cardiologist internist. He was educated in Germany, but practiced a lot in Iran, where I lived for 7 years as a kid as well. Maybe a couple of years ago, or last year, Candance, is the way that he practiced medicine is a little bit different than how it is right now. This was like 20, 30, 40 years ago, where his entire love of the game was to give back to the community. And as growing up, I would see him just give back to the community to the point where he dedicated every Friday for free treatment for his patients. So he would say, everyone, Monday through Thursday, if you need an appointment, come in. I'll charge you just regular thing. But for those who are in need, like who can say, listen, I just don't have money, but I have heart problems. I need help. He dedicated every Friday afternoon, and he would not charge anyone. I'm not going to even ask for anything. Just come in. I'll treat you for free. And that's what I grew up as a kid seeing. So I don't know. It kind of like went in my head the whole time. I was like, I think a large part of life is to give back to the community. And he played a large part of it. And I'm trying to fill that role with my practice at TruSmile as well. We're not quite there of saying, every Friday we're going to offer free treatment. But I'm doing what I can to kind of just, go down the same path.
Yeah, it's awesome. That really touched me. You shared that at one of our chamber breakfasts, how your dad had an influence and what his process was. And I have to share this. This is really kind of funny and interesting, but it just speaks to the heart of who you are. So Rafia, I post music on my Instagram posts, and I have a photo and I'll just put some music to it. There's a Kirk Franklin song that's called Smile. And it's, he goes on, you look so much better when you smile, and smile for me. And the lyrics are, and there was this one post where I wasn't thinking about, folks that don't know me and my process, but it said, I almost gave up. And Payam reached out to me personally and said, Candance, I saw your post. Here's what it said. Are you okay? Let's talk. And I assured him, I said, I'm doing fine. I've had some challenges. My business is still closed, but I'm not giving up. And then I sent him the entire song. I said, hey, this is the song. Here's how they perform it. This is what it means. But I'm good. And I really appreciated that, because, again, we met a couple times at the breakfasts, but that in itself spoke to the heart of who you are as a person and as a small business owner. So, yes, I appreciated that.
It doesn't it get lonely sometimes being a small business owner, right? Everyone is in their own bubble, and everyone's trying to just micromanage everything in their own bubble. Life would be a lot easier if everyone just kind of communicated and just kind of thought of like the community as like one big team. Because honestly, that basically is it.
Well, I also think that, like, when you're a small business owner with employees, it's also very lonely because you don't have another person that you could talk about, your business with. You have employees, so you have to lead, and you have to be, at a different place. Like you're the leader of the whole thing. So, you have to find people. And then that's what I think the chamber does for all of us, is get those like-minded individuals, and you can discuss the, challenges and the wins of your business, with. So I think it's really important that we have that.
Absolutely. I'm with you. And speaking of employees, I think that's been one of the fantastic things about being a business owner. I've been very fortunate of having like fantastic employees that have the right mindset and the culture to really take the business to the next. My staff, my front office coordinator, my clinical assistants, they speak to the assistants to the patients more than I do. Right, they're on communication. And what we've built is just to have the right culture in the practice, right? I try not to micromanage anything, and as long as they know the right path, and really it's very simple, it's just make people happy, right? Make people happy. So time like a question comes up and they're like, this happened with this patient, what should I do? I'm like, okay, what's going to make them happy? And like it's as simple as that. And we've done that for a few months at the very initial few months of onboarding people, and like just make them happy. Even if it's I'm okay taking short losses, but in the long game, as long as we're going to do better, that's the only important thing. So the employee thing is right on. I feel very fortunate that I could talk with staff and they're on the exact same page. So that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
How many employees do you have?
4.
That's
Okay.
awesome. I love that. Make people happy. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great mission. Yes.
And make them smile.
Exactly.
That's
So when you disappeared for a
and
moment,
make them smile. And Rafia,
What'd you say?
Can you hear me now?
No, you missed what you said.
Oh, I see. The interesting thing as well is with our businesses, we have. Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. The interesting thing now is traditionally orthodontics was for kids, right? In the past 100 years, I would say the vast majority of practices are at least 80%, 85% children. So teens, and then anyone starting from the age of 7 and up. So the first time that we see patients are age 7. That's absolutely the first time you should bring your kids in, not to get braces, but just to make sure that everything is going okay. The growth of the jawbones are going okay. So age 7 is the most important time for people to get in. But usually it's like everyone typically thinks the teenage years are the years to get braces, which has historically been true. But the interesting thing right now is because of COVID, with people wearing masks all the time, we get so many adults wearing a mask for several months, and probably for the next many months to come, this is the time to get braces. And they forego clear aligner treatment, they go straight into braces to get it done and make their teeth straight. So by the time we stop wearing masks, they'll have a nicer smile.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah, you're not smiling, so folks won't see your braces. So yeah, that's a COVID plus.
Yeah. And we have to look for all those pluses.
Yes.
Right. Hard, but yeah, you have to do it.
So Payam, when you stepped away, Rafia and we were talking about Dr. Dan, who's with Culver City Dental, and he's the general dentist. She does general dentistry. And I heard that you guys have shared patients or clients before. And Rafia and I were laughing. I said, do you find yourself when you're around them, you're like hesitant to smile? I wonder if they're self-analyzing us as we're engaging with them. Do you do in-person consultations as you're meeting with folks? Help me understand.
Oh, that's funny.
The answer is yes. I get everyone smile no matter what I say or what Dr. Dan says. We're looking.
Mhm. I can't hear him. Can you hear him?
Yeah, he's breaking up. I know this is really good.
I know. He broke up.
We
Well,
got a great yes.
well, I'll tell you, I will answer that. You broke
Yes.
up. You broke up. We didn't hear your answer.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
The honest truth is yes. I look at everyone smile all the time. It's just it comes with the territory. And I know Dr. Dan personally, and he's a fantastic person. He's a great dentist as well. And we talk about this as well. Yeah, we're always looking at smiles. I never say anything, right? Because, well, it's very interesting. People are attached to their smile. I have a lot of men, and they have crooked teeth and they have a very large gap right in the front. And the first thing I say, I'm like, what do you want to do? They're like, I want to make my teeth straight. I'm like, okay, sounds good. Make your teeth straight, but do you keep that gap? A smile is very personal, right? Not everyone doesn't have to have the exact same straight smile. Some people like, a couple of teeth crooked. Some people like the space in the front. And it's part of like who they are and their culture. So you have to take changing smiles in a very like case by case basis. And Dr. Dan, I'm sure he'll agree with me, as a fantastic dentist. And yeah, we exchange patients and I patients to him and vice versa. We have fun with it.
That's great. Yeah, it's interesting because my sister-in-law, she got braces, but she didn't want to lose her gap because she felt that was the one thing that connected her and her dad to, they had that same, gap, and she wanted to keep that because that was her connection to her dad. So that's
Wow.
interesting.
And it's beautiful.
Candance, is there something that you notice as you go out into the world? The same question that you just asked Doctors Payam. Do you find yourself doing the same thing?
Yes, I do. Honestly, I do. And the interesting thing is when folks are here in the plaza, I notice their outfits before I even look at their face. And I can tell, like, oh, that's my client because she has on the top or she has on the dress. But yeah, I said it. And it's for me, it's been something I've been doing ever since I was really small. And it goes back to my mom. Like I've said before, she said, when you leave the house, you need to dress like you're worth saving. So going out the house looking a hot mess was not an option in my mom's place. So when I see people, I look them up and down because I think you can really tell where people are based on how they show up. So I'm like, okay, they had a little challenge this morning, but it's okay. We'll keep going.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, I always notice people's necklaces, and if their clasps are in the front, I always want to go and turn it around for them.
And adjust it. Yes. Yes.
I guess it's part of you, who you are, like you can't help it. It's just something that you do.
And it's a
Right.
good.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. We all bring value. Yes.
I like that.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit, like, how long have you been a chamber member?
I think so. About a year. I think about a year. So I finished dental school at USC in 2012. So I've been an orthodontist for almost 9 years now. But this practice, TruSmile Orthodontics, it's only been open for about a year and a half. And right when it opened, I came to the chamber meetings and I'm like, this is fantastic. Exactly what you need. It's to hang out and speak and change ideas with other board members. So went right away, and it's been wonderful.
Great.
Yeah.
How have they helped you through this virus time? Have you leaned on them for different things? How has that benefited your business?
Well, I think a giant part to meet new people like yourselves, right? Like Candance, and she gave us a few masks. I met a few other people who I was able to buy some gift cards as well. And what we did while we were closed, part of it was because we had a lot of time. And another part of it was I just thought everyone's closed. People need some kind of revenue. So we just started buying gift cards from companies, local companies, and started giving them away, auctioning them away on our Instagram, our patients, just to give local companies some revenue, some recognition, and then make our patients happy as well, just because I know they were bored at home, not get out. So the biggest help, in my opinion, is just getting to know other people that were in a similar situation who are still in the same situation we are.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. We're all in it together, right? We're all doing the same thing, just trying to figure out different ways. And I just love the idea that you're doing all of this virtually until you actually see them, and saving so much of the time that you're exposed to each other. That's wonderful. I love that. I love that you're thinking outside the box.
I appreciate it. That helps tremendously. I think the other thing that I've always had the vision of, it's smart for most business owners or all business owners to have, is figure out how to actually serve your community and what they need. And honestly, the community will basically let you know, are you doing a good job or are you not doing a good job?
Exactly.
Yes. And actually, you know what? Candance and I had this conversation about an hour ago about giving back. That's the best thing I think that you can do, and especially in a situation like this, like where we are right now, and
Right.
hope,
And looks like
it
we
will-
got a question from
Yes.
one of the viewers. Did you see it, Rafia?
I don't see any questions.
It says, what's the most important thing to focus on as a business owner during this pandemic?
Is that for me?
Sure.
It's
For anybody.
two answers. I'm going to give you the top two. Number one, employee. Number two, customer. It's the only thing. You have to find employees that meet your vision, and you have to keep them happy because they have to understand that. I tell all my employees, and you have to be happy you're here. The day that you're not happy, you'll probably find another job, because the happier you are, the happier your customers, for me, will become. So I strive to keep my employees, and that's on me, right? If my employee is not happy, that's my problem. I have to. So that's number one. And number two, you have to satisfy a need for your customer. You can't do that, you're done. It doesn't matter if it's pandemic or if it's like a thriving economy. We actually started what I saw, like a need that I saw from the very beginning. One of the missions for TruSmile was, I noticed that there's two types. And of course, there's a lot of gray in between, but like if you want to make it black and white, it really was, you have the very high end offices where you come in and it looks beautiful and it just looks expensive, and they that technology and treatment, but you're paying for that, right? And a lot of people, even before COVID, or especially now, you don't have the financial means to that treatment. And I don't think that's right, because what happens is then they have to go to another practice that's oriented exact opposite. And those offices are a ton of insurances. Typically don't have the right treatment, etc., and orient towards the lower socioeconomic class, which I don't think is the right thing, especially since we see a lot of. I just want to set all kids up at the right path. I want them to have not even treatment, because treatment should be good all across. Everyone's certified doctor at some level, but the same service. I think service is so important, because these kids, as they grow up, they should see what good service is, how to treat people right. They should come to a business or practice, and they should feel themselves and be excited to go. And so I saw initially that dichotomy of, like, you don't have to be that very expensive, very niche practice where only like the very wealthy can afford and everyone else can service. So what we decided to do is we built that like very cool, very nice office, but we decided, you know what? Let's make the fee super affordable. Let's take all the insurances, all the PPOs, HMOs, Dentical, which is a Medi-Cal sponsored. And why can't everyone come to that same and have that same kind of service, so everyone just feels good about themselves, right? Everyone gets that really amazing treatment. And that's kind of, I guess you could say, niche. kind of like my goal of that kind of service for everyone. And that's paid off right now. And I imagine it'll pay off in the next few years if the economy maybe goes down and people don't have as much income to spend orthodontics or anything kind of cosmetic. I think help people out.
That's awesome. There's nothing I would add to that, Rafi. I don't know if you have anything you would add.
No, but I have another question.
Okay.
It
Great.
says, tell us a story of the most challenging patient you have ever encountered.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's that's hard because in orthodontic everything is visual, right? So the most challenging cases are the ones that are interdisciplinary, which means that I have to work with a general dentist, an oral surgeon, a prosthodontist, and basically a patient comes in and they think it is just straight teeth, but then you already tell you, but you have some teeth that are stuck inside your bone at awkward angles that are ruining other teeth, and jaw is malformed where you can't breathe properly. So those patients typically have to see me, and they would have to see other specialties, and we work together, over a 2-year span, and the patient has to go through many steps, but hopefully their treatment comes out fantastic. So those usually are the most challenging, but at the same time, the most rewarding, just because you get to talk to a lot of colleagues, and you get to completely transform someone's life.
Yeah, it's those things are so important, and it seems like you have a great community of other professionals that you can work with to address those challenging situations. So that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. In Culver City and Los Angeles, everyone's really lucky because there's a lot of great professionals who are very well educated and know what they're doing. So I found out that very quickly with a few people. I'm like, wow, patients are lucky. This is a great community.
So tell us a little bit about what motivates you. Since our show is called Monday Motivations, I'm going to bring it back to what is your primary source of motivation?
Easy. The first one is impact. That's number one, impact. And number two is potential. So impact, I mean impact on society. So my entire goal, my long game basically is have this giant impact on the community. And it starts with Culver City and Los Angeles, but I have bigger vision to go further past that as well. I think as long as I do that, I'll be happy. And then potential. I'm talking about my personal potential. What motivates me is if I personally am growing and achieving what I think I could impact my employees, my patients, and going from there, that's easily number one, what drives me to move forward.
Wonderful. Candance, what's your motivation for this week?
Well, before I share that, I wanted to just share, have you ever heard the saying, smile because it increases your face value?
I haven't, but I like it.
Yes. I just want to say personally, I know once I had fallen off a bike and my tooth was chipped, and it took me a while before my dad could get it fixed. And then I also switched over to a dentist, and I had some other work done. And at that point, once the work was finished, I felt my personality just really opened up even more, because when you can't smile for some, insecurity that you have within your teeth, it changes your whole mood. If you just walked around and tried not to smile, or you had a reason where you felt you couldn't, it really changes your mood. And me personally, my whole mindset, I struggled with the face mask, because when I see people, I want to smile and invite them in, or smile and have a conversation just to say, hey, here's a green. I think your smile is your green light to say, let's engage. If you don't smile, you're like, maybe I got the yellow, or maybe I have a stoplight, but the smiling is an important part.
I
Um,
couldn't agree with you more on the mask. It's been
Yes.
really hard to, and people are saying, well, you can smile with your eyes, but I just don't think it's the same,
Yes, sneezing is not the same as smiling. Yeah.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. That's,
And-
yeah.
Rafia, we talked a little bit prior to the call, but my motivation is just the community that I serve, the people that are in my life, and knowing that there are people that I've never met, and through social media, there's an impact. Whatever you put out there, there's an impact. And so the fact that I am in a position to have a small business here in Culver City, it's motivating to me to make an impact and to serve the community and to continue to grow. In this pandemic, it is interesting how you limit the 25% of capacity is somewhat limiting, but when you take that and transfer it to, I'm able to impact that 25%, 175%, because that percentage that you're not able to go, you now have that reserve to impact those that do come in. So that's how I try to look at what's happening right now and stay motivated to say, hey, I can't serve that 100%, but that 25%, I'm going to shift that over to give them all that and more.
Very nice.
That just rolled off. I was like, hey, I like that.
Yes. No, that's wonderful. I like that you put that all in a nice little package.
Yeah, it wasn't scripted, Rafi. I know you want authenticity, like give it to me now.
I love it. I love it. I think that's great. So, Payam, would you like to once more tell everybody where you're located and any last minute things that you want to add to what we've said today? What else do you want people to know about your business?
You got it. Yep. So we're located here in Culver City. It's called TruSmile Orthodontics on Sepulveda Boulevard. If you want to learn more about us, go on our website, TruSmileBraces.com, and that's TRU.com. So TruSmile does not have it at the very end. If you could go on Google reviews, Yelp reviews, you'll learn more about what people think about us, which is very, very important. But I want to leave with a message for everyone of honestly, there's a whole lot of negativity in the world right now. Try to find that silver lining, right? Whatever you can, don't let it bring you down. Watch a little bit less news, focus more on people, and find that silver lining, and we'll all be okay.
Yes.
I couldn't agree with you more. There is a lot of negativity out there. And yes, I think also giving back to your community and helping others also brings a positive light to your life. And you're right, news can definitely put more negativity. Hell, social media can put more negativity for us, So when we think of and dwell on the positive, it's better than dwelling on the negative, and it's better for our heart, soul, everything, and it puts a smile on our face.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So there's a couple of events. Well, actually, there's only one event this week that the chamber is hosting. Did you want to share that one, Rafi, or you want me to?
That's the convo with the mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's on Friday, right? That's Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. And that's this Friday is the 25th. So you can tune in on the chamber convo with the mayor, and our mayor, Joran Eriksson, will be there to answer any questions and talk about what's going on in our city.
Right. And to find out more of what's happening with the Culver City Chamber, visit us at www.culvercitychamber.com and look at our events section. There's events that the chamber hosts, as well as if you're a chamber member, you can add your events to our calendar. So those events that you're having will also be listed as well.
Mhm.
So the other thing I just want to say again is that if you know any amazing women in business, there's actually today the nominations. You have an opportunity to nominate those amazing women for the various categories. So the nominations are closing today for the 5th annual Business Leadership Awards. Rafia and I were both recipients last year. We got to share the stage and share our story and be there with our family. This year is going to go virtual. I'm so excited that it's still happening in this pandemic, that we'll be able to celebrate the amazing women in business. So if you know any women in business here in Culver City, please nominate them. They would love to know that you see them as the impactors, the influencers that they are, and the leaders that they are, and that we will have a chance to celebrate them, because I know it's something I will never forget, that day that I was honored, even the day that I was told that I was honored. So please go out and nominate the women here in Culver City so we can honor them.
And there's different categories. So, for example, I won for Trailblazer. What was the one that you won for?
Influencer.
Influencer. Okay. So there's different categories, and I believe they've added a new category this time.
They did for nonprofits.
For nonprofits. So please check it out and see what, if you have a woman that is working hard at a business, nominate her. You've got till the end of today, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And I think you had a hello from Sandra.
Yes. Hey, Sandra.
Hi, Sandra. And for those of you who watched, you can still ask questions on here and we can answer later for you. And, if you are stuck and you're running your own business, reach out. There's lots of people that can help you, especially your local chamber, like our Culver City one. And we have a lot of like-minded individuals that own our own business. If you feel stuck and you want someone to talk to, great opportunity to just come on to our breakfast meetings even and share some ideas and your your challenges, even, because let's face it, we all have our challenges as well, right? But we got to keep moving and keep motivated.
Yes.
Okay. Can I add one thing or two things?
Sure.
First is if anyone needs help at all in terms of business-wise, or more importantly, if they're going through a rough time, I'm going to give you my cell phone. Everyone, it's 310-988. Just honestly,
your internet is not allowing
I'm
you
an
to
open
be
book
great
with this kind of
today.
stuff. That's been, you're going through a rough time. Let me know.
Payam, you got disconnected, or
when you were giving your cell phone number. So if you need it again, your internet is trying to block your greatness, and we want you to put it out there.
You guys can hear me now?
Yes.
Hey, this internet is not meant to be today. But what I was saying is, if you need any, if you're going through a rough time with business life, whatever, personally, shoot me a text. My number is 310-988-0080. Shoot me a text. Happy to chat. The second thing is, if anyone needs kind of any kind of orthodontic treatment and for some reason needs help with it, we do a lot of scholarships. We get scholarships for orthodontic treatment for kids that have an impactful way of doing things in their life. The last person we gave it to was this fantastic girl in middle school, where she started a food drive and helped a lot of other kids out, which was unbelievable. So we gave her a scholarship. So you could text me if a kid who has a giant impact on the community, that they need orthodontic treatment. I'll take great care of them. And the last thing is, we partner up with a lot of organizations, and I give away a lot of free treatments to them at different galas and different schools. The next one is CCEF, Culver City Educational Foundation. They have a online gala going on, like an auction where you could fundraise for themselves, for their schools. And right now, the schools are in trouble, right? They're closed, money. So we donated treatment to that, and whatever they auction it off at, they get the money for it too. So if you need orthodontic treatment and you want to, go to that gala, bid on it, let them keep the money, help them out a little bit, and let's just pay it forward.
Do you know when that gala is?
I think it's in about a week or two.
Okay.
But it's
so I'm glad that you reminded me of that, because I'm also donating to that as well. And I also wanted to give a shout out to feedculver.org, who we've also been trying to raise funds for. And anything that you purchase from Rafia Jewelry, I donate 100% of my sales to Feed Culver currently, because they can use all the help they can get right now. So thank you, Payam, for reminding me of all that. I much appreciate that. And is there anything that you want to add, Candance?
Nothing at all. I think that's a great opportunity for us to wrap it up with. So thank you, Payam, for being so gracious and joining us today and fighting with your internet to make sure you can come and bring your Biz Motivation to our platform. We are so honored to have you. And thank you for all the work that you're doing in the community and how you have shown us how we can pivot in our business and focus in on what's important, our employees and our clients, and also working on continuing to make an impact. And you have definitely made one on our platform today. So thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone for watching. We're sorry that we had some technical difficulties, but we powered through them. And if you have questions, please leave them here. We will go back and look at them and answer them to our best abilities. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.